Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jeff from BKJMac TV, and this is the official podcast of the BKJMac experience. Thank you for listening. This is episode 43, and this episode is pretty unique. We're talking about sneakers, the sneakers that NBA players wear. So, apparently, it's come to my attention NBA players wear signature shoes of other players in the NBA. However, when they're playing against that particular opponent of that shoe, there's an unwritten rule not to wear that sneaker but to wear something else. Yeah, I was surprised by that. So there was an article written by D. Michael Cole from the Memphis Commercial Appeal. And the title of the article is Why Memphis Grizzlies Players Are Careful About NBA Unwritten Rule About Signature Shoes. Okay, it starts off with this player named Santi Almada realized he had violated one of NBA's most notable unwritten rules. He said, and I quote, "Oh crap, I forgot," the Grizzlies forward explained. El Dama was wearing a pair of Giannis Antetokounmpo's signature sneakers in a game against the Milwaukee Bucks. Wearing Antetokounmpo's sneakers are okay for 80 of the 82 Grizzly games per season, but twice a year, Elma is expected to switch shoes when the star of the Bucks is the opposition. Apparently, that is the case. When you're playing as the opposition player, you're not supposed to wear that opposition player's signature shoe line on your feet. It is the unwritten rule in the NBA amongst players in the locker room. El Dama also shared another reminder from last season during shoot-around when Dillon Brooks mentioned to him that he shouldn't wear the sneaker of an upcoming opponent later that day. He went crazy, El Dama said. "I was like, hey yo bro, I wasn't planning on wearing them. Don't worry about that. Blame it on being a rookie. He wouldn't let it happen during his second season." Interesting. So Dillon Brooks was pissed off that, why are you even thinking about wearing Giannis' sneakers? While we're playing against the Bucks, it's basically you're hyping Giannis up. So to take down the Memphis Grizzlies team, I guess I see why the players would get pissed at this rookie, for making that kind of mistake. When Aldama slipped up again earlier this season, this time it was his girlfriend who reminded him of his mistake against Brooklyn when he wore star Nets guard Kyrie Irving's shoes. "It's a stigma throughout the league," Brooks said. A stigma throughout the league. Well, whatever that means. So basically, his second year, he slips up again. And when they're playing against the Brooklyn Nets, he wears Kyrie Irving's signature shoes while they're about to play against Kyrie and the Brooklyn Nets. It's a no-no. It's a no-no. And even his own girlfriend, who's not even on the basketball team, is telling him, "Nah, you're not supposed to do that. That was wrong. You can't do that. That's against the rules." So when your own girl is checking you about that, that kind of lets you know, like, yeah, it wasn't a good look. Definitely not a good look. Here's a topic in the article: the rule for LeBron James' other NBA stars. Not wearing an opposing opponent's sneaker is not a sign of disrespect. Most players say it is more mental than anything. NBA players use the smartest things to get an advantage. And this unwritten rule goes back to the last generation of players. When LeBron James played for the Cleveland Cavaliers, his teammates weren't allowed to wear Golden State star Stephen Curry's Under Armour sneakers. Hall of Famer Paul Pierce notably didn't like for his teammates in Boston or Washington to wear James' shoes. One of the main reasons was because of how James would react if he saw it. "If I see a guy wearing my shoes, and if he's not like a real good brother of mine, because I got some guys that are Team LeBron, and that's what we do. But if you're just a guy and you go to Foot Locker or somewhere and you just get a pair of LeBrons and you want to wear them on a Tuesday night against me, I'm gonna bust your ass, James said in the 2015 interview with GQ. Basically, he gonna see you. If you're not with his camp and you're wearing his shoes, he gonna take you down. Basically, he gonna take you down knowing the fact you're wearing his signature shoes, and he don't care. He gonna embarrass you. He's gonna annihilate you, and that's how LeBron be moving. To be honest with you, that's how he be moving. That's how every major player in the NBA moves. Doesn't matter. There's a rule. You're not supposed to wear your opponent's opposing shoe line on your feet. Sneakers are very important in the NBA. It really just give you this distinction of who you are in the NBA, and wearing your opponent's shoes on your feet, it's not good business at all. Definitely not good business. Tariq Evans and Mario Chalmers passed the knowledge down to Brooks in Memphis. When Tyrese Jones played for the Minnesota Timberwolves, he learned from Kevin Garnett and Tayshaun Prince. Brooks, Jones, and Kyle Anderson are among the players who have made current Grizzly players aware of why most NBA players follow this rule. Jones wears Kyrie 7 in most NBA games. When Memphis played the Nets last month, he chose to wear the Kobe Bryant shoes. Absolutely, a great pair of sneakers. You're not going to wear the Kyrie sneakers against the Nets. Doesn't make sense. You don't play against anybody with those shoes on because they already got the upper hand, Jones said. That's kind of got to be our mentality. We're playing against somebody. We're not wearing their shoes. It's no disrespect. It's nothing like that. It's a mentality thing for sure. Basically, it's a competitive edge. You don't give yourself a competitive edge when you're wearing your opponent's shoes on their feet. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but yeah. That feeling has rubbed off through most of the locker room, especially when the Grizzlies play the Nets. Jared Jackson Jr. wears Kevin Durant sneakers in most games, but he didn't do so against the Nets last season. John Morant often wears KD's and Kyrie's, but he opted for Kobe's 11s against Brooklyn. It is more about comfort than the name. Even though the most players in the Grizzlies locker room follow the unwritten rule, that's not the case for everyone. Xavier Tillman Sr. is a big fan of the comfortability of Giannis Nike Zoom Freak series. He has heard players talk about not wearing opponent's sneakers, but for him, there was a problem. I'm like, shoot, I don't got no other shoes, Tillman said. Tillman mentioned how he wouldn't feel comfortable switching into shoes he didn't regularly wear, and that's the case for Brandon Clark too. When I play Durant, I wear his shoes proudly, Clark said. See, Brandon Clark going against the rules and Tillman going against the rules. The Grizzlies players aren't forcing teammates to follow this rule, but it's something that most of the NBA considers. From the Nike brands to Jordans, Adidas, Under Armour, Puma, Li-Ning, Anti, New Balance, and 361 Degrees, 22 current NBA players have signature shoes. 22 current players have signature shoe lines. Amazing. If the shoes are comfortable, wear them, Brooks said. It's just one of those things in the NBA. Among active players, Grizzlies players often wear the Nike shoes of Durant, Irving, Giannis, and Paul George. Zaire Williamson, an Adidas athlete, mostly wears Donovan Mitchell's DON sneakers. It may have took some time, but when Aldima played the Nets on Sunday, he wore Giannis Nike Zoom Freaks. More importantly, when Aldima is scheduled to play against Milwaukee, he'll switch to Kyrie's. He knows the deal now. It makes sense not to wear their shoes because it's a mental thing, Aldima said. So basically, he learned eventually not to wear his opponent's opposing signature shoe line. He doesn't want to give them the mental competitive edge over him and his teammates. So when they play, even though those things are comfortable, they feel good, they're easy to ball in, he's willing to switch those sneakers out for another pair of kicks, and because he wants to maintain the status of the unwritten rule in the NBA. It's interesting. It's an interesting take. Tell me, you guys, the sneakerheads out there who wear different types of sneakers, let me know what y'all think about this. Was this really, is this rule really necessary? to be here really necessary, or is it just overblown? Do you really get an advantage? Do you really lose an advantage when you wear your opponent's shoes against them in the same game? You tell me what it is. But this episode was pretty unique, and I just decided to report on it. Thank you for listening. This is episode 42 of the B. No, I'm sorry. This is episode 43. Episode 43 of the BKJ Mac Experience. Thank you for listening. Peace, love, always one.